Hello there, my name's Annette with Sunbeam Fabric Art. Welcome to my channel. If you have any junk journalers in your life, this is a great way to use some of your skinny scraps or selvage edges. My daughter is a journaler, and I asked if she would like me to make her a fabric junk journal cover, and she said sure, she would love it. The first thing I did was get out a nice big piece, about a cookie sheet size, of my Heat and Bond Light. I'll leave a link in the description. This bond has bubbles on one side, little bumps that is glue, and then paper on the other side. When you press down one side and adhere it to the fabric, then you can peel off the paper and adhere more fabric to the opposite side. So it's a double-sided fusible. Next, I turned the fusible bump side up. And now what you see me doing is I am just picking out random selvage pieces and laying them diagonally on this fusible sheet. I have a lot of green and blue selvage edges in this bag, but I also had some purple, which I was happy about because my daughter's favorite color is purple. Once I thought I had enough, I started from one corner and started laying them out more neatly, and I used straight pins to stick these to my wool pressing mat. Next, I followed the directions on the fusible and pressed these selvage edges down to the bumpy side of my fusible. Next, I flipped this over so I could peel off the paper on the back and put some fabric on that side. When I flipped it over though and tried to peel off the paper, I lost a couple of edges on my corner, but I was able to just gently place those back where they were supposed to go. I cut out a nice big square of batting. I'm going to be fusing to the batting, but I don't want to iron directly on my batting, so I went ahead and threw on the lining fabric and ironed the batting to the fusible with that extra layer in there. Once everything was adhered nicely, I took the whole sandwich to the sewing machine and I started doing some quilting stitches. I think I've got a tan thread on top and a gray thread on the bobbin, and here's what that looks like on the back side. I also did a few other stitches besides this particular one. First, I did fancy stitches about 2 inches apart. Then I went back and filled in with stitches about 1 inch apart. Next, I cut out a couple of rectangles of fusible and I folded this lining fabric over on itself with that fusible. And what I'm making here are a couple of inside pockets to either wedge a book into or photos or anything. They'll just be little side pockets. Next, I trimmed my main rectangle to the size that was requested. Then I trimmed those pockets to a similar length. I clipped these book holders to the inside, and they will get attached on that raw edge. The folded edge is facing the inside of this cover. The raw edge is facing the outside. I'm going to bind all 4 sides and those raw edges will be enclosed after I get done. I cut some 2.5-inch strips from my stash and folded those in half, pressed them, and just went around and made a binding just like I would do a quilt. I stitched it to the inside first, then I flipped it around to the outside of the book cover and stitched it down. I thought I would test this out with a book that I had on my shelf behind me. The book does fit in this cover very nicely. Now I just need a closure for this book cover. I marked the center of this cover on the side, on the right side and the left side. I'm going to be sewing down a cute button on each end right in the middle. I'm cheating and just using a zigzag stitch, so I had my needle going very, very slowly so I did not break my needle or hit the button. I clipped all the loose threads I could find on this project, front and back. I was looking around for a piece of string because I thought, or ribbon would work, or shoelace, anything like that to wrap around these buttons and keep the book closed. I couldn't really find anything, so what I ended up using was a very tiny rubber band. Well, I think this junk journal cover looks fantastic. I'm excited about it. It's possible I may be asked to make more of these, which that's exciting too. A good way to use up things that would go in the trash normally. And just so you know, I have a huge pile of selvage edges now, and here it is. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to subscribe and click that bell icon. That'll get you a notification when I post a new video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you back again real soon.